According to studies, it's estimated that more than 80% of high achievers experience what's known as imposter syndrome. So if you've ever been held back in the past because you felt like an imposter and you wondered whether or not you can even avoid it or what you can do to overcome it, then pay close attention, because today I'm going to share why constantly attempting to avoid imposter syndrome is really detrimental to your credibility and what really needs to be done about it. Hey, my friend, if it's your first time here, my name is Jeremy Bellotti. I'm the founder of Personal Mastery, where we specialize in helping experts and coaches increase their value, master premium client acquisition, and make a meaningful difference without having to sacrifice their freedom. You can learn more at personalmastery.com. And by the way, if you really love what you experience here on this channel, then please go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and comment below. I love being able to receive your feedback of what you appreciate most about what we share here, and also your insight into what you'd like to see in future videos as well. So let's talk about this thing of imposter syndrome, right? Like what really is it, right? What is imposter syndrome and why does it affect so many high achievers and entrepreneurs and mission-driven coaches? Well, at the end of the day, imposter syndrome is this pervasive feeling of self-doubt and that insecurity that comes up when we feel like we're not who we say we are, or you don't know what you're doing, or you won't be able to replicate past success despite your education, experience, your accomplishments, and despite all the evidence to the contrary. This is something that comes up a lot for coaches, experts, high achieving entrepreneurs and professionals that are striving for more, being able to create more income and ability to impact lives and create more freedom in their life. And there's always inevitably other people involved in that equation, right? Because if you're looking to add a service into the marketplace, you're inevitably going to be focusing on solving problems for other people, which means now you're throwing that into the equation of you showing up for others, but also you comparing yourself to others in the marketplace. And so the more we strive for more, which means growth, right? That's growth in your overall, personal growth, your financial growth, the impact you make, the freedom you create, and every other meaningful area in life, which means we are stepping out into the unknown every single day. At the heart of who you are is creating something from nothing every single day, even when people around you tell you it's crazy, right? Like that is the journey that you're on, which means you have a lot of opportunity to question. You have a lot of opportunity to question yourself. You have a lot of opportunity to question, if what you're doing is working or if you know how to make it work, right? Which leads to a lot of uncertainty. And you don't know what to do or what to expect. And we've been conditioned, right? We've been conditioned to believe that trial and error is wrong, that we can't make mistakes along the way, that if we're an expert or if we are a coach, if we're a leader, then we can't make mistakes. We definitely can't show anybody else that we make mistakes or that we fail or any of that. And it's really unfortunate that so many have been led to believe that we should avoid mistakes and we should always know the right answer or every answer, right? It's really antithetical to the journey of growth, that necessity to fall down and to figure things out as you grow and fall forward. And so a lot of times that part of us is crushed, our capacity to innovate and be creative. And we're always seeking these proven answers and the safe pathways, right? This keeps people stagnant and incapable of growing beyond the status quo. And so that ability to go after things that are difficult and challenges that maybe are uncomfortable is the only path to growth, which means we need to accept the process of growth if we want to be able to serve better, become more, and create a bigger impact and grow beyond our current circumstances, right? Like imposter syndrome should really be called growth syndrome, right? We need to completely relook at the way that we view this entire idea of it, because even thinking about it as, imposter syndrome, we innately think that it's something wrong, that it's something that we need to avoid, that it's something that we shouldn't be experiencing, when we are high performers looking to constantly grow and do things uncomfortable on a daily basis, right? Like, let's just go ahead and reframe this entire conversation and focus on it as growth syndrome, right? Growth comes from making new and better decisions, taking new actions, and creating different and better results in all major areas of life, which is going to require you to not only do things that are uncomfortable, but become someone that embraces that discomfort, right? And being willing to really claim the reality of making mistakes, right? Like, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. No one that goes through this journey of life is going to be perfect. And so we've got to be willing to accept the reality that we're going to fall down along the way. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fail. And that new actions and new decisions will always bring uncertainty because they're new. You're doing things that you've never done before. And so growth is a direct result of that trial and error, of you being willing to learn how to walk or ride a bike or go swimming, and learning how to read or write or create fulfilling relationship with your spouse or be a parent, right? Being a parent did not come with a playbook. I don't know if you realize that. It is not an easy thing. And you are learning as you grow, and you're also learning as you make those mistakes. It's a part of it, right? And it's easy to come into that place where you're feeling that growth syndrome come up of like, hey, do I really, am I really cut out for this? Can I really do this? And whether it's your business, whether it's being a parent, whether it is being in a relationship with someone and deepening that connection with your spouse, at the end of the day, the growth is going to come from your willingness to face those obstacles. And when we look at it as something as negative, we look at it as something that we want to avoid, we are actually distracting ourselves into something that truly is an imposter of what really is at the heart of who we are. Because at the heart of who we are is to face that challenge with the grace and courage required to break through it, not to avoid it, not to fall back, not to hold yourself back from creating what you know is possible. And so when you avoid feeling, right, if you avoid that feeling like an imposter, you're in the reality avoiding growth. You're becoming that person that you desperately want to avoid, right? You're wanting to create better results and achieve more and make a bigger impact without embracing the process of transformation within yourself that's required to be able to create that, when we're trying to avoid this idea of imposter syndrome, not recognizing the reality that it's not to be avoided. It's to be recognized for what it is, and realize as a high performer, it is going to be a part of your journey if you're deciding to step up and do what's required for you to create your vision. And you're wanting to make a difference in other people's lives. But if you're trying to avoid imposter syndrome, you're trying to do that without doing the work on yourself. And we're distancing ourselves from the authenticity that creates real connection and inspires transformation. In reality, what we're doing is, again, we're acting as an imposter by attempting to avoid something so crucial to our growth. And that healthy understanding of what it really is, so that we can show up the way that's required of us, is very crucial. And it's not about faking it until you make it, right? Like, that is simply not it. If you're doing that, then again, you are showing up as an imposter. Like, this is completely out of integrity if you're just going to try faking it till you make it, right? Like, show up speaking to what you know, right? If you're faking it, then you're not inviting the process of trial and error that allows growth to happen. We want to show up speaking to what we know, showing up, discovering things that we never knew before, but along the way, speaking to what we know, meaning what we have accomplished, done, what we've experienced. Because when you speak to that, there's no need to try to fake anything, right? Like when I'm speaking to you on this channel, I'm speaking to what I know because I've actually lived it, not because I read it in a book somewhere, not because I took a course about it somewhere. No, I've lived this every single day for the last over now a decade, and I've empowered other people to live that standard and be a living example of mastery. That's what you speak to. But guess what? My next level, right, of earning more, of impacting more lives, of creating even more freedom in my life and being able to build deeper relationships and open up new opportunities in my health and my wealth creation, the journey that I'm on, well, guess what? Yeah, there's going to be things that I learn along the way, certainly mistakes that I continue to make along the way. And guess what? Those are going to be the growth syndrome that's required for me to show up and take a stand on things that I'm not really sure of. Face those obstacles that I maybe am a little bit afraid of, and have the courage and the grace to go forward and push to the next level. But at every level, I'm speaking to what I know. And guess what? When you do that, guess what you're going to start knowing? You're going to start knowing the courage required to face challenges that most people are unwilling to tolerate because they're trying to avoid it and they're throwing it off as imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is just often rooted in this broken paradigm that holds us back from truly embracing this process of transformation. So here's the thing. Understand that this is first a good thing. This is a good thing. You're stretching yourself. You're going beyond average. You're going beyond the conventional idea of what should be possible or what is possible. You're growing. You're stepping out of your comfort zone and learning how to achieve more, to serve more, and become more. And we also want to be aware of this process as a healthy dose of self-reflection and awareness that empowers you to be a high achiever, right? This concept of imposter syndrome disproportionately, the research shows, affects high achievers, which means if you're experiencing this, guess what? You're stepping into the realm of what a high achiever is required to do, which is go beyond the status quo. Go beyond mediocrity into a place of mastery where you're required to make a decision every day to step up beyond your comfort zone and have that humility to accept and realize that you don't know everything. And that's totally fine. That's perfectly okay. The thing that distances you from being an expert is not knowing everything. It is you trying to play it off like you do know everything. That is the farthest thing from a genuine expert or a coach who is going out there and making a difference. Because as a coach, for example, your greatest superpower is not having every answer to everything. It is your curiosity in the journey of growth and struggle and making mistakes that allows you to acquire the skills to ask questions that empowers people to realize what is possible. And if you're learning every day, you are just guaranteed to achieve better results. And if you allow yourself to experience that journey, it's inevitable you achieving what you say you're committed to. So we've always got to be acting from this place of integrity with ourselves. And when it comes to your business, like your offering services should absolutely always be focused on what you know, your experience, your own knowledge, not offering things that you don't know anything about or you don't know how they're going to work. Always be curious and searching for opportunities to make services better through your experience, through what you are creating and living by every single day. And be willing to redefine and reinvent yourself constantly, because that should be happening anyways as you evolve and grow through all those mistakes and challenges that are ahead. This is why we can't afford to focus on avoiding imposter syndrome, but instead being able to create a healthy vision of what it really represents and recognize that this really detrimental attention that we put towards imposter syndrome only exists if you don't embrace the process of growth and if you are intentionally faking it to make people believe, otherwise. And everything else, we can refer to it as growth syndrome. You stepping up and doing what's required. It's always going to be there. The more that you think it's not, the more frustrating it's going to get. So let's just make sure that we're always putting attention to what matters most. And at the end of the day, your default setting should always be you showing up in service to the people that you care about most and that you know you can help. Not a savior, not having all the perfect answers, but really thinking like, how is what I'm going to talk about going to serve my audience? How can I connect with the heart of what matters most to them? Because that is at the heart of what allows you to not only experience growth syndrome more often, but more often than not, embrace it for what it is and have a healthy relationship with this journey that is required of you to step up, create more, and inevitably be able to help more people. Hey, my friend, hope you enjoyed that video. Listen, if you're looking for a way to increase your value, master premium client acquisition, and make a meaningful difference without sacrificing your freedom, then you've come to the right place. I want you to do two things right now. Number one is click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that way you never miss a new video and you can make sure that you get notifications. And number two, if you are an expert, coach, or consultant that is ready to build a reliable business online, become more along the way, and you want to work with us personally to take your life and business to the next level, then go to personalmastery.com, learn how you can become our client.